I done some work in TouchDesigner, and I want to see how the frame rate goes if I end up using some of the stuff that came with TouchDesigner with the touch screen and media running at the same time. I don't have currently, TouchDesigner is currently not giving me anything, but it is on. So is Chrome. So that's one of the things that right now I can even tell right now there's lag. It's not too bad actually. Actually no, I think it was just I've got an excellent. So hopefully I figured out some of those issues. Stay tuned. Okay. What I have is on my second display here. And there's a reason here in a second why I have the first camera showing and the second camera, and the reason basically being, oops, I just turned off the second camera on accident. It's gonna take a little while. Come back, camera, come back, camera. Because this camera is able to show the touchscreen here, and so now when it moves around, it happens. I'm currently going to go ahead and bypass this. So, whoops, that one. No. It is that. Okay, I'll just kind of go through and explain how this works. This is the movie file in top for what is currently on the background. It is Eames Powers of 10, and if you haven't seen this video, it's very interesting. It's back from the 1970s, and basically what it is a movie that, here, I'll go ahead and I will. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Come on. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it over here so I can show you what's going on. So this basically is how it goes. It starts off at a, well, without this, starts off and kind of looks at a picnic, and then starts off at a meter, and then goes to 10 meters, and then 100 meters, and then 1,000 meters, and then 10,000 meters, and 100,000 meters, and backs off all the way from the Earth. So you go through all different solar systems. So this is 10 million meters. So 10 to the power of 15, 10 to the power of 16, and then 10 to the power of 20, 10 to the power of 24. Now 10 to the power of 24 is 100 million light years away when it stops. And from that point on, it goes all the way back in, and it goes really, really quickly. It goes quickly back into 1 meter, and then 0 meters, then -1, so 10 centimeters, 1 millimeter, 100 microns, 10 microns, angstroms, and goes all the way through to 0.001 or 0.0001 in the power. And you know, that being made in the 1970s is crazy. But what I wanted to do is create more of an interactive way for used, and let me kind of explain how that's working. I have this touch display. So currently, if I touch, you can see up here in the touch in, there's a multi-touch in op. Or, I'm sorry, DAT. That's available. Multi-touch in. And this gives you information for multi-touch interfaces. So if I touch one, you'll see one. Let me take the background off. If I touch one, you'll see one. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And if I move them, you'll see all of the different changes. So I don't want to do it too much because it'll just start messing up my user interface. But you'll see that what I'm doing is pulling out just the first one because I know that I always want to use one. Right now I'm just doing a single touch interface, and I'm not using anything else in the DAT right now. You can have things for on down, on move, on up, on hover, which are really helpful, and that's just Python that goes along with it. I'm not using that right now, but I am taking the select. I'm using the U, which is if you can see right here in this column 7, you can see the U is actually going to be related to the monitor that I'm on. It gives me a better representation, and I pull that out using the start column name and in column name. I find it's just easy to do it by column name. I could do it. There's multiple ways to pull out a single DAT file, but then I go to I do a DAT to chop, and then I make sure, this is one of the important things that I just found out. I didn't know this. Make sure that you have first row is values. If I remember correctly, the default is or first column. One of these is names or ignored, something like that, and it will. Okay, I think what it is yeah, that's what it looks like. And you'll see, obviously, that does not work with the math. So you need to make sure this is on values. Then it will work with the math chop. So I have it going into the math chop, taking a range of 1 to 2 and changing it from what I need for the Q sequence of this right here, this Q point. And I do have it loop crossfading a fair amount. And that was not only to kind of give a good experience for the edges, you'll see that in a second, but also which it allows me to have the middle be the actual center. And I could, if I want to, go through and chop the actual file and just make sure that it's halfway. There's multiple ways that that's possible, but the way that I did this is just through a Q point and then a pulse that happens, and the pulse and Q both come from the same. See, they both come from the null chan 4 or null 4 chan, which is right here, and this is the selection from that same finger. So if I do one finger, you'll see it turns on, off, on, off, on, off. And all it's doing is turning this from 0 to 1 to 0 to 1. Now, when we have this originally off, which is 0, when I put my finger on it, it'll turn to on and it'll start to cue it. Which means when I start to move my finger, then anything that happens with the cue point, that will happen in real time. Okay? So that's why I have it set up the way it is. Because I want to be able to scroll in real time. The cue point comes from this null 6. So you'll see null 6 chan 1 right here. So I just realized that my mic was a little bit down, so I'll make sure that it works a little bit better. So this is coming from null chan 6. This is coming from null 6 chan 1. This is null 4 chan 1. And that's just the Q pulse and Q point. Okay, and that's all that it requires for me to be able to touch, and you'll see it automatically goes to that Q point. So if you take a look over at the parameters right here in the parameter box, it automatically jumps to that location, and the Q changes. Okay, so no matter where I'm at or where I'm putting my finger down, it'll change to that location. Okay. Now, because it's doing it in real time, it also allows me to actually scroll. And I'll show you that here in a second when it's in full screen. This goes, just to quickly show you what else I have going on. The audio is just being kicked out right here to the whatever is I need it to. Hopefully that should come through to this. I'll check that in a second. Actually, I haven't tried it out. Actually might need to make sure that I do need to make sure that I have my audio input default in here. Okay. And that should allow me to do I have something else going on? What else? Okay. Well, we'll check it out. I think it should work just fine, but what this goes from is a movie file in chop to a null, top to a null top, just to make sure that there's some kind of a break. And then I have a feedback loop going on, and it's just blurring it, just kind of giving it a nice effect when it goes in and out. You'll see it kind of has this kind of morphing that happens. Goes into a comp. Currently I think it's on overlay. Yeah, overlay. And then goes to a null and then out. And that's all. That's all that it's doing. So it's not really that complicated, but when using a touchscreen, you kind of have to figure out the easiest way for this to work. So, yeah, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and put this into my screen. And I'm going to perform it on one. Okay, just making sure. Okay. So this is what I have. If I push here in the middle, you'll see that it actually just kind of stays. And then as I move my finger, now you can kind of see where that feedback loop is coming in. If I come especially, it's the most interesting when it's near the earth or when it's down near the person going into the hand. But it's very, it goes all the way through, down. And then one thing that is happening right now, I need to take off the end because I still have probably another 3 to 4 inches before the end of my monitor. And so it does start to loop back over on the right side, which is kind of annoying. But it's, I don't know if it's annoying because then it does it on the left side too. So there's kind of this like beginning and middle, like this is the beginning of the far left side. If I go all the way to the far left, that's as far left as I can go. And then it goes all the way through. But I think the most important thing is that the middle is right here. So I can put my middle point right in the middle of monitor, and then move in, and it goes really quickly, but then starts to slow down as it goes out. So I've found an interesting way to interact with Eames Powers of 10. And I think there's some more room for exploration here. But it's something. It's something to start on. This originally came around. I wasn't even necessarily thinking about. Let me bring up my camera real quick. If my camera will work. Will my camera work? Come on, camera. Oh. So this didn't even necessarily come about because I was interested in doing something with Powers of 10. I was actually interested in doing something with visualizing a timeline. And I thought it was very interesting to be able to go back and forth and feel something. For instance, what I want to do next is get the data for the disparity between political parties, or how divided America has become basically because of social media, and put that on a timeline. But the way that you'd be able to go through it is, where's my? For some reason keeps on. There I am again. No, okay, there we go. Sorry, I just realized that I was looking at something completely different. I was looking at my Twitch stream. Yeah, it's interesting to be able to have a physical feeling of how data changes. Being able to place your finger at the beginning of 2000 and move your finger all the way to 2020, and as you're doing that, the graphic in front of you is actually changing. You'll see it polarize. But that, I think there's a way of using the same, you going from X0 to X200, being chronological as well as what's the word I'm looking for? Visceral. Sure, I'll say visceral. Another kind of interesting thing that I found out that I thought I would show is actually part of my. Here, let me see if I have my. Maybe the best way to show this. I can show this. Oh no, I don't need to show that. I need to show my. Well, what I'm trying to do is I have my here, I'll do HDMI in camera 2. So this right here, this little keyboard right here, this one, this lower one here down by my lap right here. I found out just recently will allow me to do some pretty interesting things. So I'm actually going to test something. I'm going to put something in Chrome. So let me actually, I'm going to put this in, best way to do this. I'm going to copy my camera in case. Then go to presentation. Okay, so what's going on here is I have my screen. I'll bring up here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and pull up something in Chrome that I know is going to be fairly active. So actually, I'll go ahead and do this. And yeah, what I'm pulling into Chrome right now, or pulling into OBS from Chrome, is there we go, is Netflix. So I'm just going to stream it right over the top of Netflix. But what you'll see is what happens on the screen happens here as well. So I'm going to do it full screen because otherwise you'll see kind of this white hue at the top right here. You'll see these are already lit currently. But yeah, enjoy the show. Oh. Well, it's not working currently. Usually what happens is I'm able to take a single screen. Well, that's too bad. I'll have to figure out how that works. Because it's not working for me right now. And I want it to work. It's also slowing everything down. Also, Stream Deck is slowing down. There we go. And Chrome is really, it eats up a lot of RAM. Luckily, I have OBS now on like highest process, so even if something slows down in TouchDesigner, that's fine. OBS is still going. It's more important to me. But I don't know what it's gonna do for the virtual camera. I don't know what it's gonna do for Zoom. We'll have to check on that. Yeah, sadly this keyboard didn't work right now, but it normally does an atmospheric ambiance, which basically when there's a window in one part of the screen, it'll move the lighting and actually changes the lighting of the keyboard due to what's on the screen. It's very, very cool, but for some reason it's not working right now. It probably has to do something with Synapse, which I'll have to, with Razer Synapse, I'll have to bring that back up, make sure it's working. But yeah, that's all I have working on. I think that's about all I'm going to show for this Powers of 10 video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. Drop me a line. Put something in the comments below. Is this when I say stuff like subscribe and hit that bell, notify, all that kind of stuff? Thanks for coming. I hope this was somewhat interesting in some way. Originally this was working with a mouse, and now it's working with a multi-touch screen. So there's a lot of ways for you to be able to get the information in and out of TouchDesigner and change it and get it to do what you want. So yeah, don't forget that there's more than just one way to use it. I think after this I'm gonna, I don't know, a little bit more video gaming. Maybe take a nap Saturday afternoon. Peace.